Jeanette, thank you. Jeanette says, was in grocery store listening to the rants, lolling in the aisles while suffocating in my mask. Thank you all. Don't they suck? I can't. I'm in a store and it's like I hate it. I can't breathe. I hate not being. By the way, I grew up with asthma, and I can't stand. I can't stand having to breathe, and I only wear a crappy cloth one because I'm doing the minimum requirement. There's a store that I go to, though. If no one else is in it, I get away with this because the guy behind the counter pulls the mask down below his nose. And so I was like, well, if he does it, I pull my mask down below my nose. And you know what I noticed the other day? This is just a weird thing. The smells. It's a store that had like fruits and vegetables and different things in it. Yeah. And
yeah.
I forgot that I was allowed to smell things, and I walked in the other day and pulled the mask down because I was the only one. It was a small store, the only one in the store, and the guy had his mask down a little bit. So I pulled it down, and I inhaled, and I was like, "Oh yeah, the world smells. The world has smells. There's like things. There's beautiful smells that I'm missing out on because I'm smelling my crappy cotton face underwear."
Look, I know there's disagreement in our community about this, and some people won't like it and some people will, but I don't typically wear them. I wear them depending on context and where I'm at and where I choose to wear them. But, on this trip to DC, I only wore it when I started boarding the plane. Like as I'm boarding, I put it on. And then on the plane, I wear it under my nose. And this particular airline was great. They didn't bother people wearing it under their nose. So I got to breathe the whole time. And I don't wear it. I didn't wear it on the metro or the train at all. And actually, I had this really great moment. I wanted to post about it and share it with people, but then I knew, based on the meme I shared, I would get a lot of hate. But it was beautiful. If you understand this, you're going to understand it, and if you don't, you won't. But I was sitting on the metro and I was looking at something on my phone. I look up, and there's this guy across from me, this black guy, construction worker. He's in like one of the hard hats and like a reflective vest. And he's smiling at me. And then I realized he's not wearing a mask either. And that's why he's smiling at me. And so awesome. I smiled back. Yeah, I had one of that Katniss moment, right? With the fist up, like, yeah. So I smiled back. And then he says to me, and he wasn't directly across from me. He was like a little ways away. But he says to me, has anyone, yelled at you about not wearing a mask? And I said, not today. And then he said something about how it's making people crazy. And I said, yes. And there's a quote by this saint, and I forget which saint it is. I was just looking for it, actually. I meant to look it up before the show, but I told him there's a quote by this saint that I read recently, paraphrasing. It was about how in the future, the world will go mad, and the mad people will look at the sane people and call them mad. And then he said, that reminds me of something my father told. He said, you know what my father told me? Is that if a man, and at this moment I realized we're hitting my stop. So I jump up and get closer to him, to the door. And I was like, please continue though. And he's like, if a man's going to stand for anything, if his word means anything, he needs to stand for it even when 1,000 people oppose him. And at this moment I've stepped out and the doors are shutting, and I was like, thank you. I was like, it's nice to meet. He stuck his hand through the door. It's like a movie. He's like, I'm Steven. I'm like, I'm Carrie. We shook hands. He said, I hope I see you again. And the door shut, and he left. But it was just a really beautiful moment where I felt, we just connected in a really short amount of time.
Over your non-compliance.
Over my non-compliance. And I would have liked to continue the conversation. Maybe I should have missed my stop and just stayed on the train. But it was cool. And I thought, that's such a beautiful moment that I want. And I know some people will like it, but I also knew a lot of people would hate it. So I just like, whatever. I'll save it. You'd
probably get him in trouble. You'd post it on social media. Someone would figure out who it was. Yeah.
Steven, construction worker who's black in DC.
Right. Yeah, they'd figure out where you were.